Welcome to Rauta. Today we have a beer review instead of album review. How does that play out? Well, we'll be soon seeing that. What we have here is a Children of Bodom beer by a Finnish brewing company, Fat Lizard. As it so happens, it's actually one of my favorite Finnish breweries these days because they make high quality beer with other nice properties, so to speak. First, let's take a look of this can. Now, as you can see, this is a sort of a Finnish nature themed beer can with a ominous character right there, kind of a Bodomish Grim Reaper. It says it's vegan, gluten-free, 5.0. Let's say two-thirds of a pint. Here we have this text, this description, what is this beer all about. Classic beer with a dark twist, as you can see. What else there is to know? Well, there's ingredients in Finnish and Swedish, not much help to you. As you can see, Espoo-based craft beer. So all in all, looking nice. Not maybe as dark as I could have guessed Bodom themed beer might be. And the timing is quite nice. Bodom is actually releasing new album on, if I recall correctly, 8th of March 2019. So this kind of was pretty much hand in hand with that album release. Now let's take a look on this cap here. As you can see, it's not your average type of opening cap, but instead of this big rounded hole, and I'll show you the benefits right now when I will just open it. Now, this is not my first tasting of the beer. Actually, the guys from Fat Lizard were kind enough to send me actually 4 cans of beer. So I've already tasted this just like in room temperature, in kind of a cooler temperature, being in my garage, which is quite cool these days during winter. You know, it's February and all that stuff. And also cooling down after really spicy Indian food, which is my kind of a hard test for all kind of beers outside of pure drinking pleasure. So I'm just gonna open it and pour it into a glass. But now let's take a look on this can opening. As you can see, or pretty much here, big sound, another click, and then it opens really smoothly. Way more smoothly than normal. As you can see, this is quite a big compared to your average beer can. I try not to put this on my computer or everything will be screwed. But as you can see, this is quite a bit bigger. I will show you when I have poured this in my glass. But quite a much bigger, so you can pretty much taste it like this. Obviously, you can do that with other beers as well, but since the hole is quite tiny, it's a little different. There's not so much air going in and back, and you know, it kind of sucks compared once you get used to this bigger one. Now I just were in a metal cruise recently. I got this nice glass. Wrong brand, I know, but hey, you gotta live with what you have. Let's put this baby into this glass. As you can see, this is very golden in color, like a typical lager beer. Once you pour it like this nicely, it doesn't foam at all, hardly, but there's lots of bubbles, obviously, and there we go, filling it all here. So this is now empty. Now it's easier to show you. As you can see, this is so much more bigger. This also works for the people who are, like, you know, smoking or whatever, because once you dump here those tobacco butts or whatever they call it, they're more easier to just take them out for a trash can or whatever instead of your typical you know, can of beer. No, so here we have it. You know, this is kind of it's not so clear than some of the beers you can see. So it's kind of a brown, golden, not that different, you know, this kind of unfiltered beers you might have gone through. Now when it comes to taste, let's have a reminder sort. So what in essence we have here is this beer that is lager, yes, very much so. It's not as hoppy or tasty in that sense, like all those pale ale generation beers, India Pale Ales, IPA that is, or APA, American Pale Ale, or other just basic pale ales. But this has way more taste than your, say, average bulk lager. I'm not gonna drop names. You all know what these big brands are with their very basic type of lager beers. But this is somewhere between those extra hoppy IPAs and so-called hipster beers or craft beers, but it's still not that far from your typical lager. Now, like the can states, this is taken from the actual Bodom Lake, where those horrible murders happened, which then again gave name to Children of Bodom, obviously. So there's kind of this dark Finnish mystery murder vibe with this beer. Obviously, it's a story, well, real events, but kind of a story. So no murders happened, I guess, when making this beer. Those things aside, what to do with this kind of beer? What is this suitable for? How does this actually cope with your drinking benefits or habits? Well, let's say this way. This taste, which is kind of a strong for lager, but it's kind of easy to be enjoyed, is at the same time really refreshing. So it's kind of a suitable for just your average drinking with your buddies. Maybe you are having a couple of pints at your local bar, or like I prefer to do with these kind of beers, actually to have it with some spicy food, be it Asian, Indian, Nepalese, whatever. The thing is, I think this fits damn well. I was having this kind of a hot chicken vindaloo or something, actually last night, prior to making this video anyway, and I took one of these cans just, purposefully to complement the food and, how to feel, how it would, work together. And I gotta say, pretty damn well. Now, as much as I like IPAs and all kind of sour beer and whatnot, they don't fit that much, in my opinion, as with food. They're the type of beers I prefer to just drink by themselves. Having good times with my friends or just alone, playing a game. I don't know, playing guitar or whatever. But these kind of beers, I wouldn't most likely go in a bar and buy for just taste. But this is a kind of a good exception in lagers that no matter how much, us craft beer fans overlook the fact that, lagers are the kind of a biggest thing there is with beers. This one is just one of the type of beers that are really, really filling the kind of gap there between the lagers and IPAs. It has so much nice taste, but it's not overwhelming. So this could be easily a kind of a gateway thing to I don't know, IPAs and whatnot. So I think you should give a chance. If you're a lager fan, sure, give this one a taste. This might be a little bit more tasty than your just average bulk lager. And if you are into IPAs and whatnot, and you are like, hey, I'm not a lager drinker that much, this still might be an interesting thing for you to have. And like I said, if you're a Bodom fan, obviously you need to have a taste of this, because not only the name, but because the ties and the general feeling. And like I said, come on, these kind of cans always look more fancy to give as a present to your friend or just take to your party before going to a gig than your just average, cheap ass lager. So go for quality. Fat Lizard hasn't failed before, and they certainly don't fail with this one either. Like I said, I'm not big a lager fan, but this is really nice for the genre. So what can I say? Kippis, cheers, kampai, prost, skål, slanjeva, slanje, and all that other stuff. Happy drinking.